country.
Yeah, especially South. Even the food and all is very good.
Oh yeah.
So you have ZTV is a very national network here in India. So have you worked for the southern part or for the national network itself?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you now.
Okay, so I was just asking, ZTV is a national network here. So have you worked for the national network, or were you specific to any regions?
Yeah, so what happened was I was producing for NBC Universal, which is a big entity here in the US, and there are international channels there too. But I was asked by a production company to help create new content for an emerging network called ZTV that was branching out to the US.
Oh, okay.
And so I worked with ZTV executives to build out US broadcasts that were produced by ZTV.
Oh, okay.
So created some programming for them and worked on figuring out brand identity in the US.
Okay.
So it was a very interesting project.
Yeah.
And just I had an excellent time. Everybody was really very aware of what was needed, and things moved very quickly. So
good, great.
In television and film production, things moving quickly and effectively isn't always the case.
So how long it's been that you've been with ZTV? As in, when was this?
This is a long time ago. So I did my work with ZTV 2006 to 2008, probably.
Oh.
And then the work that I did with them continued to 2013, I think, but I was not the one doing. So the work that I started lasted until 2013, but I was stolen away by NBC Universal again.
Okay.
So but the initial idea was that I would be there just to help them launch, and then I stayed on to produce a couple of shows for them.
Okay.
Alrighty. So it's 2:01. Welcome to everybody to this Zoom. We are the International Technological University, and we can see that we have people from different places. So welcome to everybody.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to have a presentation on about ITU, what are the programs that we have, and how to apply. As we are aware that you are in the process of applying to the university. And to do this, we invited Chair Department Jake Watchel. He is the Digital Art Department Chair, and he also is faculty. Jake has experience in the media and entertainment industry. So it includes both the creative and the production side of the content creation. Jake also studied as an award-winning international journalist, earning the Foreign News Desk Award and the recognition from the National Academy of Television and Arts Science. Jake has also worked as a producer, writer, and director on a range of projects for numerous media companies, including NBC Universal, DreamWorks TV, and CBS, as we were talking right before you arrived. Jake also headed the digital division at Innovative Artist Talent and Literary Agency, and currently serves as the Department Chair of Digital Arts and Production at ITU. So Jake worked as a Hollywood executive and thought leader in Silicon Valley positions him as the nexus of entertainment and technology. This is Jake's bios, and welcome, Jake. He's going to present and talk a little bit more about the university.
So thank you so much, Eric, and thank you everybody for joining. In terms of what Eric was talking about, my background is quite varied, so I've worked in a number of different industries, and mainly media and entertainment and global tech is where I've spent a lot of my time. And so I'm happy to talk with you today about the university, the departments, and also take some of your questions. I think what we'll do is we'll probably hold the questions till the end, but that's what we'll do. So we have a number of things on the agenda to talk about, and let's get right to it. All right. So ITU was founded in 1994 by Dr. Shupak Chan. And the interesting thing about Dr. Chan is that he was a professor at Santa Clara University. I would say, by many accounts, an industry leader. And he was somebody who believed that we could learn from industry professionals in the world of academia. So a lot of the principles that are still found today at ITU, he started in 1994 and sadly passed away several years ago, but the legacy continues, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But the thing that makes ITU quite unique is you have people who have their masters and PhDs teaching, of course, that you'd find at any normal university. But what you have is you have people who are professionals, industry leaders who are teaching. So it's not just somebody who has an advanced degree teaching you, it's somebody who has work experience and practical knowledge that they can share with you, which can be helpful if you're currently working or looking to improve your work opportunities. So Dr. Chan had an incredible vision that he set in motion, and luckily it's being kept in the same vein today. So part of what we see here is I'll go to the vision. The mission, I've talked a little bit about what the hope is in terms of how people would want to be able to understand Silicon Valley and apply themselves in that regard. But if we look at the vision, and I'll read it to you, to empower people and advance global prosperity through inventive, industry-linked Silicon Valley education. So the idea is that it allows people to get real knowledge that they can take out into the world and bring that so that we have an actual educated population that has the technical skills and training and the professional know-how to get something done right. So it's not you're going to school for a purpose. And there is something that's a vision driven in terms of what you'll do in terms of your expertise afterwards. That's obviously a picture of a very happy student. So there we go. All right, so the history of ITU, we have Dr. Chan founded it in 1994. The president of the university is Yao Jin Chan, who is the son of Dr. Chan. So the legacy continues, started by the father in 1994 and continues to this day through the son in Yao Jin Chan. ITU is an accredited institution, which is pretty important to know, especially for some of you who are international students and must be at accredited institutions. We have, as you can see on here, we have certain recognitions. One is the WASC Accreditation, which is incredibly valuable. There are also programmatic accreditations that we have received as well, like our MBA program having the SEVP accreditation as well. So let's talk a little bit about some of the programs. Now, some of you may be already interested in particular programs, and that's wonderful. And I encourage you to explore as much as you can, not only within that department, but also expose yourself to some of the knowledge and some of the faculty and some of the students in the other departments as well to help round out that education. I was able to speak with one of your colleagues a moment ago prior to this starting and was recommending that he be able to explore that option. So as I mentioned, that the MBA program does have a programmatic accreditation. So you have the MBA program, a Master of Science in Computer Science, Master of Science in Software Engineering. We also offer information and cybersecurity, which is so if you look at these fields of interest, by the way, these are things that are highly popular, things that are also that are necessary in the workforce. So we understand at the university that not only are you spending time to learn and improve, but we want you to be able to have something that's valuable for you to take with yourself beyond the doors of the institution. We offer a master's in engineering management, computer engineering, electrical engineering, and I'm the department chair of digital arts and also a faculty member. So we have a digital arts department as well. I'm happy to go into exploring what these programs do more specifically. And so we can certainly talk about that at the end. The one thing, again, that I would recommend is the student population has various different skills and interests. And so what we often talk about for the culmination of the program, you do a capstone project, right? Your final project. And that project, in many ways, almost can be a startup company, because we have so many experts in different fields, right? So you could have a business person working with an artist, working with an engineer, working with a developer, right? So in that sense, you could actually build product. You could actually come up with something in terms of the offerings that you see here and create not only a startup company, but you would be better positioned to be at the company that you're in currently, right? So you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You can just be an entrepreneur within a company, right? And a better worker as well. So the flexibility of how you want to use the education is there. But I would highly recommend, when you look at this, if you're looking here, you can see right here, right? You have 8 options here, and we're not even done with all the options. You have the cross-section of student population to make your experience that much stronger and enrich not only yourself, but others. We can move into the PhD programs as well. So we have a DBA, which is the doctorate program of business. Then we have a PhD in electrical engineering and a PhD in interdisciplinary sciences. So again, if you think about it, the offerings allow you to really have a great cross-section, not only of faculty, but you have a cross-section of the student population as well. And I know that in my classroom, I always bring in industry professionals, right? So in my startup courses, I bring in executives from Tesla and Facebook and Google and real VCs, so that you're exposed to people who are not only the faculty members who have the industry experience, but you're exposed to people within their circle, right? So as a faculty member, I always try and figure out how to help a student. And if I don't have the correct answer, I'll talk with a colleague to try and find something for you. So we're definitely here as a resource for you as well. Every department is definitely committed to that, to try and figure out not only help to educate you and position you better, but to give you long help as well, beyond just the institution. We can move on to the next slide here. All right, so these are some of the technical requirements. You have 3 core courses, which make up the 9 credit units. And then what we've done is we've added a lot of flexibility in the elective courses, because as you're learning, you may have a particular specific focus on something that you want to study. For example, in the digital arts department, we have UI UX concentrations and production concentrations and digital marketing concentrations. And business has multiple concentrations as well. So you may have a very specific emphasis or focus that you want to be able to learn more about. And what we've done is we've opened up to allow more elective courses, obviously with department chair approval, but we've allowed the flexibility to look within the other departments to be able to find something that's going to really help move you to that next level. And whether that's you're going to be doing video games and you also want to work with, so you're working with digital arts and you also want to work with electrical engineering and deal with AI in gaming, then that allows you that possibility of 2 worlds that normally would not be connected. So the ITU also offers the capstone, which I talked about, which is the culmination of all the work that you've done, and you have a final project. Nugget courses, which are condensed courses that allow you to get some hot topic and learn about it that is not regularly offered. So it's a special course that you're able to take. And those nuggets allow you to have 2 credit units. You can certainly take more, but those are the required. You have to take 2. And then ITU Presents, which is very similar to what you would think of as a TED Talk, where we have speakers of industry who come in and they give lectures and take questions about what they do. And that's a very special opportunity to learn more as well, which ultimately ends up having 39 total credit units, and then you can see the cost there. Certainly, I'm not from the accounting department, so I certainly would point you in the right direction if you had questions about courses and payments. But in terms of the cost, it's actually a very low cost comparatively to other institutions, and the offerings are definitely not the same. All right, some of the admissions requirements, and certainly at the bottom of the screen, you can see that it says for more information, reach out to admissions@itu.edu, which is definitely if you have real specific, difficult questions. At the end of this, you can certainly ask me, and I actually may know some of these answers. But the basics are the following. You have to have a bachelor's degree with a minimum of 2.75 or a master's degree of a 3.0. There are considerations that are made based on experience and other factors, but these are, the way that we set the requirements. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but I'm trying to let you know where some of the beginnings are. English proficiency, and then, of course, you should turn in your statement of purpose, your resume, and letters of recommendation. And I think that's good for there. The SEVP Compliance. Now, there are changes that are happening daily, and the latest change here is that that courses are going to be able to be taken online. That may actually change. So if it changes, we're set up to be able to do 100% online if we have to. We're set up to do in-class courses if we have to, and we're set up to do hybrid classes. So no matter what happens in terms of what's happening with the government, it's not going to impact you because we're already set to be compliant regardless of which direction it goes.
So here also, maybe we can, a lot of people has questions about internship and how this is handled by the university, since ITU is always looking to enhance the student experience with the internship opportunity and have real world experience while a student is studying at ITU. Can you explain to us a little bit more about this, Jake? How it works with ITU? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, some of you have you're muted, and I appreciate that. But when you're not muted, can you unmute? Anybody here interested in the internship specifically?
Sure. Right now we don't have questions exactly for that. It's just people to know.
Does ITU accept PTE scores? I'm just looking in the chat box. I would reach out to admissions@itu.edu to ask that question. I don't want to speak on that because I truthfully don't know. Were the 2020 fall semester? So 2020 right now, we are teaching the courses in distance learning. So we are not having on-campus classes right now. Even the classes that were scheduled to be on campus are being taught through distance learning. And right now for the fall, we don't know if it's going to be fully online or not. We are definitely offering a lot of online courses, and we are offering on-campus and hybrid courses as well. But based on student and faculty safety, we're going to make those decisions based on safety and compliance. So in terms of regulatory bodies as well. So we want to make sure that your student safety is of the utmost importance. So right now, if you were at ITU, you would be taking courses online, even if they were originally on-campus courses, because that's the way that they've been measured in terms of safety for us to deliver them to you. I hope that answers that question. I'm definitely open to discussing it further. And I think that might have been the question from Zoe. But we're definitely going to be able to give things online, hybrid, or on campus, depending on what's happening, both in regard to safety and compliance. But we're never going to not consider safety. That's the number one importance for us. In terms of the internships, a lot of students love the fact that they can go to school and take internships as well. And so you can take up to 3 trimesters of internship. And I think that's what Eric is alluding to. So the ability for you to be able to learn and to also have some practical learning in an internship is a very, very valuable experience. And I know that certainly in my experience teaching at ITU for the past 5+ years, students have gone on to formally end up working at those companies and have sometimes, left the companies, but certainly enjoyed the learning significantly, both on campus, in the classroom, and at the workplace. So that internship is incredibly valuable. And the internship itself is a class where you'll be updating as to what's going on in your internship so that it's attached to the academic program.
We have one more question. It is coming from Elise. I'm going to unmute Elise so she can ask the question about the application.
Sure.
Okay. Let me unmute Elise. Alrighty. Okay, here.
Yeah, so I saw it online that the deadline is 15th of August, but then you just mentioned that it's 1st of August, so I just need some clarification on that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again? I had a little bit of difficulty with your audio.
Yeah, so I saw it online that the deadline is 15th of August, but then the slide that based on your slide is 1st of August, so I just want to have some clarification on that.
If you allow me, Jake, just to chime in there, I think that's a good question. We are encouraging to be before the 1st, but definitely it is 15. That's what admissions said, Newton from admissions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Certainly, it's always great to apply early to make sure that you're admitted and to be able to reach out to the department to figure out what courses you want to take. So we at the end, certainly I can answer any more questions about that. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're good. We're good on that slide. So, as I said before, and this is a great picture because I know some of the students in this. Some of these students were in my classes, and I'm smiling because I have this photo I haven't seen that often, and 3 of these people actually are in different parts of the United States right now, working, and one of them is in Minnesota. And so in the winters, I always get complaints about the cold. So the great thing is that you have students from all over the place. We have, I can't remember the number, but it was almost at one point 28 or 30 different countries represented at ITU. And so you have multiple cultures, multiple backgrounds, everybody very interested in learning about not only Silicon Valley education, but applicable global knowledge as well. And so when you look about this, you think about not only are the faculty your resource to try and find other opportunities for yourselves, but your student population is definitely a resource to try and not only have friendships, but to be able to explore work opportunities as well. The alumni is almost a who's who of greatness in terms of some of the places where, and I'm looking at this list, and this list has obviously some highly recognizable companies, but I would say that we have probably 20 or 30 other very highly recognizable companies that you could find on here as well. Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100. So these are some of the places. And if you looked at the faculty, you would find that the faculty have worked at these places or currently works at these places as well. So a lot of this is because of connections with faculty. A lot of this is just the caliber of your colleagues, the talent of your colleagues as well. So people have gone on to do their own startups, to be at the beginning of startups and have retired. I have some students who are actually already retired because they got into a company at a very early stage and it went public and they've made a lot of money. Some students are high-level people at some of the companies that are here on this list. So you're going to find that the opportunity for growth is pretty significant. All right. Well, this is definitely very important. If you're thinking about applying, definitely reach out. If you have questions for me, I'm Jake Watchel, and I can put that in the chat box actually. IR, can you put that in the?
Sure, I'll put it here.
Box? Okay, and my email is just the letter and then watchel@itu.edu. So feel free to reach out if you have further questions. But it's, reaching out to admissions is one of the most important things if you're trying to, of course, apply. But I would really encourage you, if you're interested in specific departments, I would ask to talk with the department chairs. Reach out to a faculty member. I talk with incoming students all the time. Sometimes I talk to them about other programs and recommend other programs based on what the student is asking me. And sometimes I recommend the program that I oversee. So for me, it's not a matter of which department you go into is most important. It's what department you go into that matters to you. So when you're looking to find learning or looking to find a job or an opportunity, what matters to you is of most importance. So feel free to ask me questions, even if it isn't about the digital arts department. Certainly have a deep understanding of it, but I've worked in other sectors of the world. And so in that regard, I'm going to know about other departments and whether or not that's a good fit for you as well.
We have one question, Jake, coming from Parth. I'm going to unmute you. Parth?
Yes, so I'm already on F1 visa and I'm in US right now. So I have a question, do I still need to show a proof of fund for the admission? And if yes, what are the acceptable documents?
That I would say reach out to admissions. I would ask them that question. Okay. When you do ask them that question, you should say that you spoke with Jake and he mentioned that you reach out. And I'll let them know that you're reaching out so that they can, maybe they can give you a special case. I don't know what they can do. But okay. certainly, if you're here, I know that if you're here now and you already have your F1, there is some ease of that transfer, right? It would be a transfer that you have to do, correct?
Yes,
that is correct.
Yeah. So in that regard, I think you're on your way to something that should work out. But again, I would reach out to admissions and ask that very direct question.
Yes, admissions requires to have liquid funds about $40,000 on the. It could be a bank account. It could be your bank account or the person that is going to be your support here in the U.S. Your affidavit. So. That would be a bank account, or it could be also a loan, a student loan. But definitely reach out to admissions. We have the admissions email here, so you can direct a message to them. Yes.
Admissions@itu.edu. And like I said, in terms of applying, every institution has their standards of the way that they look at everybody, and then they take closer looks at candidates. And they look at grade point average, they look at TOEFL score. There are certain benchmarks that you must hit to be considered, but there are exceptions based on prior work experience and other factors. So I would reach out to admissions to see how you fit, because I know that certainly over the course of digital arts, I've had several I've had several emails and discussions with admissions about certain students throughout the years, and we've talked about background of the student, student portfolio, student work, student interest, a number of different factors, and sometimes we've admitted students and made exceptions for them to come in. So we want to make sure that the most important thing is that we want to make sure that you're going to succeed. And that's really where some of these standards come in, is that we want to make sure that you have success when you're here.
We have another question. It's coming from Brihesh Patel.
I can read it right there. I applied to MS in computer engineering a month before, but I haven't received output. Yeah, you know what you could do is did you put my email in the chat box? Let me put it in here.
I'm going to put it right now.
I'm going to put it in right now. And so that's my email. So what I would do is when you're writing to admissions at itu.edu, so when you're writing to admissions, why don't you CC me? So any of you who have questions with admissions, why don't you copy me on there?
We have also...
I think he's trying to speak. Can you unmute?
Yes, I'm going to unmute Brihesh right now.
I think you're unmuted.
Yes.
Hello. Hi, Jack.
Hi.
Thank you for unmuting. So I did apply for MS in computer engineering. And the problem was with the WASC report, credential report for my bachelor. And right now WASC is shut down due to this COVID, and they are sending the soft copies. But those soft copies comes with the watermark on that saying it's a temporary or it's unofficial copy, something like that on the report itself.
Gotcha.
And so I checked with the admission team. They are saying that they need the copy without watermark on it, and I'm still following with the WAS, and they are saying that there is no way they can send us they can remove the watermark unless they completely reopen and go back to the office and print out. So I think that's where my application is got stuck. I'm not sure what exactly is the status now.
I know some universities allow for you to do this online, and they can send it a digital copy. Does that institution not have that ability?
So this WS can send it directly to ITU, but I'm not sure how to do that. So what happened is that I downloaded it from the WS website and copied that file to ITU.
Oh yeah, no, I understand what you did. I'm wondering if they can do it, because if they do it for you, then it's more official. Then they might.
So yeah, that's what they're saying, that unless they completely open the office and do the printout from there, they can't do that. I mean, that's something unacceptable. I mean, I'm already paying them, and then they are already validating everything. Why can't they just send me the electronic copy?
I think if you have correspondence with them and other things like that, you might want to. I would reach out to admissions and explain the situation, because they may, if you have a dialogue back and forth where there's proof that you're trying to do it.
Yes, I sent that dialogue as well.
Rihesh, could you send us a private message with your email so we can reach out to you and then continue the conversation?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Don't send it to everybody in the chat box.
Sure.
Unless you want everybody to reach, and that's fine too.
No, I just sent it to Eric's iPhone.
Okay, great.
Shall I send it to Jack as well?
Yeah, either to Eric or Jake. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have one more question. Let me see. Somebody was raising.
I think we have a couple of questions.
We have Abjit was with his hand raised. So let me see what he wants to say. Go ahead, Abjit.
Yeah, hi. I have a question regarding the admission process. So I have received a conditional acceptance saying that I need to show some funds for my master's. So I just want to understand as in what is the process from here. So once after I have applied for my bank statement, so probably I should be receiving them in a day or two. So once I receive them, probably what I was advised is to get in touch with the ISO, the International Students Office, to get the documentation done so that probably they can issue me an I-20. So I just want to know the process, as in, is this the right thing? Because I have been through the requirements. So I believe that I have passed this stage. So I'm at the stage of ISO. So I just want to know a bit more clarity on that.
Yes, and it was cutting off. I couldn't hear really well. So you're stuck on the funds.
No, I'm not stuck on the funds. I've applied for the bank statement, so I should be receiving that in a day or two. So once I receive it, I will upload it onto the system. As in, there were steps which were guiding me to upload the documents, the required documents.
Okay, so I think that you're in your way. Once you have your documents, you can upload them.
Okay.
But the same thing. Please send a private message to us, to Jake or me, and then we can give you follow up on this regards. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Whenever you correspond, again, I'm going to put my email address in here. If anybody's corresponding with admissions, just include the admissions isn't going to care that I'm on there as well. They may take me off and respond to you, but if you send it with me on it as well, I can probably send a follow up to admissions to just check to make sure everything's okay for you. Right?
Sure.
Admissions is really good about, generally very good about getting back to people. But if there's something where you're not hearing, then at least you have a human being as well as, the admissions office has human beings for sure working in it. But you have a specific person that is your contact as well. So I'm happy to be that contact. And I'll put my full name in there as well. All right.
Thank you so much for your question, Abjit, and I'm going to mute you. Let me see if we have another question over here.
The question is, I already got admitted by ITU. When is the last date to transfer my CVIS record to ITU? I would definitely ask that to admissions.
The last date that you can apply is for the transfer. We have different due dates. The due dates that is going to come here is tomorrow is for international students applying for overseas. But if you're a transfer, you're still going to be able to transfer, but you need to apply in this range before August 15. Okay. And please, Xinjiang, send us a private message also with your email so we can reach out to you too and follow up this case. All right, so let me see.
Okay, there's somebody asked about WASC accreditation. I'm glad you asked that, by the way. So the WASC accreditation is still valid. Once you're in the university, you must be educated by the institution, must educate you through the entire process. So if you're admitted into ITU, even if there wasn't an accreditation, you would still be taught out for sure. So there's no issue for anybody who comes in. The WASC accreditation is valid. And the additional show cause, I think, was for an additional year. So there is definitely a long runway of time. And the only reason why it changed is because there were some changes in terms of structure, and everything is now in place and very stable. So the students who come in won't have an issue at all, because once you're a student, by WASC's definition, you must be taught out at the institution. And if the institution changes, then you will complete your program. So that would not be an issue for you. I think that was, Sonam, is that your question? So do you want to unmute so that, so if you're admitted into IT, you have no issue with WASC at all, because it is a WASC accredited institution. And if there was anything that changed in that regard, by definition, you would still be considered a student who's in an accredited institution, and you would be taught out. So no problem at all.
Let me unmute Sanam. Is that clear, Sanam?
But the response was yes. Okay, thanks. So I think it's okay.
Okay.
But if you do have anything that you want, certainly, Eric, you want to unmute for 10 seconds or so, and if you want to say anything,
that's fine. She said that is good. She's good. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions we might have here?
These are great questions. Let's see how much. Okay, so this is a great question that was asked privately, and I'm not going to. I think I'm going to answer the question, but I won't say who asked it. Does that sound fair? Okay, so here we go. So there's a question about if the grade point average. Again, grade point average, there are exceptions that are made based on a number of different factors. So I would not apply because you have below the grade point average. I would definitely apply, and I would even highlight in the application. I would say that the grade point average here, and have a little bit of an explanation. That way, it's not something that you're pretending, right? But I wouldn't spend a ton of time explaining it away. Again, and on that particular situation, email admissions and email me, and we can look at your case, right, and see. I can't guarantee acceptance if you don't qualify, but people who have below that GPA have qualified based on other factors. Let's see.
That is correct.
So in terms of your work background may play a factor in it. When you took your program that you're submitting your transcripts for, what happened, other circumstances. So I would definitely, I know that I have made exceptions in the past based on letters of recommendation. So, and looking at a work portfolio and other factors. So you have other opportunities like your letters of recommendation, your resume, your portfolio, other background information to let people understand what you are holistically, right? I think if a university only looks at grades, then they're actually negating something very important, which is the other talent of the person, right? It could be that you took a degree that you weren't passionate about, and now you want to take a degree that you are passionate about. There are a number of different factors, health, a number of things. So in that regard, I would definitely still apply, but be honest about it. That's the best way to do it. Again, I have made exceptions when admissions has asked me to make a judgment call, and I look at the entire application and I review it and I make a decision. And I think if you're on the bubble, there's a chance that you can make it over based on other factors. And there's another question that somebody has, so I think somebody has to be unmuted.
Abjit, I think that he wants to ask something else. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I also have a question regarding the F1 visa because I see that the consulates in my country are not yet open. So, what is the process regarding that? So, I also want to understand what are hybrid classes.
Sure. So the hybrid class is being worked out so that some of the course is being instructed in distance learning, so you're online, and the other is that you would have on-campus experience. And the reason for the hybrid is to keep the number of people out of the classroom at a certain, so you have classroom time. And right now the regulation is that you actually don't have to worry about the hybrid as what came out today, actually. But that may change. So that's why I said earlier in this presentation, we're trying to make sure that we can accommodate whatever regulatory body or whatever whatever ends up becoming the law, we're going to be able to be compliant. We don't want you to not be compliant. So right now, the way that we're structuring the hybrid classes is we would have it staggered as to when you would be in class and when you would be doing the distance learning, so that the course would be a combination of distance learning online and then also in the classroom, if it's safe to be in the classroom, right? So everything is predicated on safety and the way that the government is also regulating things as well. So does that I hope that answers your question. Does that answer your question, or do you?
Yes, unmute yourself, Abjit.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay. And the other question was regarding the visa. So how do I go about it? Because the consulates here are getting open.
Your volume. Can you get a little bit closer to the mic? So
sure. Is it audible now?
Yes, it's great now.
Yes.
Okay. So my question regarding the other question is regarding visa. So what I have heard is that the consulates here would be opening in mid of September or October. So I just would like to know when would the classes start at the earliest, and by when should I be ready with the visa? And how do I go about it?
Maybe if you want, I can chime in here, Jake.
Sure. I mean, I can tell you that the classes will start right after Labor Day. So the fall trimester will start right after Labor Day. So that's early September, and they will go early September.
Okay.
And in that case, if they are going to be open until September, maybe your application we can put it for screen in that case, because we're not going to be able to get the I-20 fast enough for you, because the classes are going to be already started. So in that case, so it all depends on the embassy and your country whenever they are open, and we have the time, right amount of time enough so you can get to the country.
Okay. So if I understood correctly, so before September 7th, I should be having a F1 visa. Is that right? That should be okay. Okay.
If you have it by then it would be possible. Yes, but you have to apply, since you are international student applying from overseas. Tomorrow is the last day to apply, and we are able to process the I-20 and all this. But if you have to fill out and complete your application by tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day for you, in your case that you are overseas.
Okay, I already applied and I have got an acceptance.
Okay, great.
So I am at a phase where I have to apply for the F1 visa once I submit my ISO documents.
So you already have your I-20?
No, I haven't, because I have applied for a bank statement. So once I receive my bank statement, probably I'll send it to the university so that you guys will issue me an I-20. Is that right?
Yes, you gotta do that fast, so we can process everything from the admission side. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So the information
have you sent your email to us so we can follow up with you?
Sure. I'm in regular touch with the admissions department through emails. So I will also type in my email address as well.
Okay. Yes, please. And it all is going to be also dependent on the U.S. embassies on every country. So some things are not going to be under our hands to resolve, right? So we gotta wait in that case.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sure. I'll do that.
Send the message, and we're going to follow you up. Thank you.
Sure. I'll do that. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, of course. Again, if you're international right now, right? If you're overseas right now, tomorrow is the deadline. So definitely get that application in if you are in that situation. If you're currently in the United States, then it's the August deadline that we talked about. August 1st is where you'd want to try and get that finished. And I think August 15th is the actual hard deadline, right, Eric?
That is correct.
Yeah. So again, if you're overseas right now applying, definitely if you're not in the U.S. right now, then you definitely want to apply by tomorrow. If you're here and you're changing over, then obviously that's fine. I received an email.
So I have a question here.
Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah. So when you're saying tomorrow is the deadline for the application, is it for the people who are applying for the first time, or is it even in my case for the ISO documents?
It's for people applying outside the country, outside the US.
Okay, so I already have applied and I have got an acceptance. So I'm not understanding what is the deadline tomorrow for.
So you're fine. It would be for you, okay. But if you already applied, you're fine.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay,
yeah. If you're deciding on whether or not you're applying, is what we're talking about. So if you're you know, but again, if you're currently in the United States, you have until August.
That is correct. That's for the rest. If somebody else is in the US and it's transferring, they still have time. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a question about. I won't mention who asked it, but a question about supporting visa change as status, right? Eric, I think you might be able to address this question a little better in terms of if somebody has a visa change status. Is that something that ITU does?
In that regards, I do not have an answer for that question.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this person. Okay, so then ISO at itu.edu, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm going to let that particular individual know some information. But I know that students in the past have had similar questions, and they've asked me, and I've referred them along to ISO, and it seemed that it worked out. So I think the answer to your question is yes. And I'm saying I'm not directing a specific person because this is a private message. But I think the question is yes to what you're asking, but I definitely think you should reach out to ISO, and I'll email you that address.
That is correct. And please send us your email also, so we know who to reach out to, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna and include my email on your inquiry.
All right, so we are almost 3, and we were set up for half an hour.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Any more questions?
Yeah, I think there was another question here.
Let's have it.
These questions are great. So, by the way, this is the time to ask these questions. And when you come to ITU, I know right now everything is, social distance and distance learning. But when we're up and running on campus, I definitely want to meet all of you. So, certainly feel free to reach out and let me know how things go. If you have further questions, reach out to us anytime. All right.
That is correct. We're here to help. So
as for your TOEFL Quest score, I don't know how long those last.
In that case, if you let me time in, Jake, TOEFL lasts for 2 years.
Oh.
So after 2 years, you have to retake the TOEFL. Any other question?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I know that this is the middle of your either relaxation or work day, and you have other things you could be doing. I hope you've enjoyed spending some time with us. Certainly, this is important information. And if you have additional questions, again, please feel free to reach out. You got me how I can reach out to the IT center. Your student email. I would say send me that somebody's asking about a student email. So go ahead and send me your email, and then I can reach out to IT and see if we can troubleshoot that for you. All right.
That is correct. I'm leaving my email for you to have it also, so you can reach out to me. Any question? So you have two contacts in the university that you can reach out. Okay. Jake, Chair Department of Digital Arts, and also Eric, which I'm on the marketing department. More questions? Okay. We're here. We're listening. All right.
So I look forward to seeing everybody on campus or on a screen like this very soon. All right. Thank you everybody for joining, and have a beautiful rest of the week. Okay.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. You too. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.